Yes, my people, what are you man telling me? And we're back with another one. So this is NQ, and this is what it looks like on my 1 hour chart. Obviously, we have from this high to this low, and we have at least mitigated the 50%. So if I know that this is my market structure break, this is my protected high, this is my weak low, everything inside of this is just internal structure. So I understand that price is in the pullback leg where it wants to pull back, tap into something potentially on our left, and obviously start making its way back down. So I was trading the pullback. So when you go down to our 5 minute time frame, we can see that we are above our 200 SMA, and a lot of people would have probably had their stops at this low, and there's completely nothing wrong with it. However, when we have things beneath it that price wants to potentially mitigate, uh, we tend to sweep and obviously push back higher. So in this case now, I could have used this as my one, this as my two, this as my three, wait for the sweep 4 5. However, because these lows are lower than this one, then I would prefer to actually use this as my one, these as my two, this as my 3 4 5, as this makes much more sense. Obviously, we've had our sweep, and then potentially R5. And if I just write my fib from this low to this high, you can see we don't quite tap the 618, but the 50% has been tapped into at least. So we know that price is cheap enough for us to start looking to potentially buy. So when I went down to my 1 minute time frame to look for an entry, we can see that on our lower time frame, price is making lower lows and lower highs. However, on our 5 minute time frame, yeah, that's it. So on our 5 minute time frame, I used this candle here, and within this candle, if I go down to my one, you guys will see in a minute that we tap into it, and price pushes back out. We actually did have SBS combo. I just can't show you here because I don't have the second chart. So just to show you what it looked like on my 15-second chart. So if you had a 1 2 3 price at 4 5, we tapped the 200 SMA, but also above the 200 SMA, and you can see we actually created that double bottom where we made a low, high, low, and then price goes back up. I just can't show you within this price action, but from there, obviously I was able to capitalize on my win, and price pushed up. Obviously, this is not my normal trading times, but I had some things to do later, so I just thought to myself, why not? Let me just jump on the markets a little bit earlier, and obviously that's what I done, and the markets paid me for it. And that's about it. And obviously, if you let price play out, price pushes up. So for those of you that were trading probably from 3 to 5, let's now push over to 10. So it's now 3 o'clock or 10 p.m. New York time, 10 a.m. sorry, and you can actually see how price actually does come back and tap the 618. Doesn't quite give us the 1.6R, but it gives us the 1 to 1, where potentially if you wanted to use this one as your 1, this as your 2, this as your 3, 4, 5. That also makes complete sense, but at the time we were below the 200 SMA, so for me trying to take a trade from here when my SMAs is all the way up here, that would have been a no for me. However, if you just scope back and see what's going on our 1 hour time frame, so as I said before, we're in this high, protected high, and we're in this weak low from this market structure break, and we can actually see now how we have retested the 200 SMA. You could say we had SBS in terms of this is your 1, this is your 2, 3, look, price sweeps, 4, 5. You could also use this as your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It really depends, up to you. They're pretty much the same thing. So now potentially we also tapped into a area of interest. So potentially now, if your bias was now to look for shorts, I wouldn't blame you. It's just that you got to make sure on your lower time frame the shorts that you want aligns. There's no point in you trying to have a bias and there's nothing that aligns with your bias. So we can actually see how price was making higher highs and higher lows, and so price was making a high, low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, low, high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So price has now had that flip. So we had our first market structure break there, market structure shift, sorry, and another market structure shift. So now if you're now trying to look for a trade within this area here, I wouldn't blame you. And price just keeps dumping. Okay, so price just keeps dumping. Let me just get my other settings out. It's 0.5, I think 0.382. Okay, so no, so we don't even tap the 382 level, but now we have a new zone here. And so now price taps the 382 level. So I mean, if you wanted this as your 1, 2, 3, where price swept, 4, 5, obviously tap that wick fractal as well. Then be my guest, and potentially that could have been your trade that takes you down. Obviously we've now gone past our trading time, but if you just go back to our 1 hour time frame, we can see how based off our 1 hour chart, we had a 1 hour SBS, we tapped to a 1 hour area of supply and demand. So let me just clear it up and make it much more neater. Obviously protected high, weak low, and then we had our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we can see how price tapped into our 1 hour area of interest, which is my last up down, which is the SNDR. And obviously price had a nice reaction. We also reacted off the 200 SMA very, very nicely, and yeah, that's about it. And obviously price went down, but obviously now we're in the pullback stage. But if you knew how to enter that based off your lower time frames, then potentially you could have made a killing. But that's it for NQ today. Always remember, guys, that victory belongs to the most tenacious, and wherever you are in the world, I'm wishing you guys a good morning, a good afternoon, a good evening, and a good night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.